Good morning, and welcome to New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show. I'm Renee Segda.
And I'm Airlie Ward. This is the week of October 13th through October 19th, and today's show has some very important messages.
October is National Bullying Month, and our show today will feature special reports on bullying packed with information.
And in our Students' Voices segment, students from Castle Hayne Elementary tell us what they do to stop bullying and what they think others can do.
We also feature Castle Hayne's new principal, Cindy Bliss. We will learn a little about her and her plans for the school.
In America's Wildest Places, we'll travel to Canaan Refuge in West Virginia and learn all about wildlife there.
We have a packed show, but for now, it's time to swing over to the news desk with our news anchor, Victoria Chang. She is standing by with our first look at the Your School News headlines. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning, Renee and Airlie, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on The Morning Show. Topping the headlines this week, new survey shows parents are struggling to help with homework. Hoggard High students got the opportunity to view critically acclaimed documentary, and League of Women voters support education bond referendum. I will have all those stories and more coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Victoria. We get things going today with the staple here on The Morning Show with the segment we call This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from past times in This Week in History, brought to you by Kidsville News.
Welcome to This Week in History. I'm your historical host, Samantha Klein, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of October 13th through the 19th. October 13th, 1977, 4 Palestinians hijack a Lufthansa airline and demand the release of 11 imprisoned members of Germany's terrorist group, known as the Red Army Faction. The Red Army faction was a ground of ultra-left revolutionaries who terrorized Germany for 3 decades, assassinating more than 30 corporate military and government leaders in an effort to topple capitalism in their homeland. October 14, 1947, U.S. Air Force Captain Chuck Yeager becomes the first person to fly faster than the speed of sound. Yeager, born in West Virginia, was a combat fighter during World War II. He was chosen to test fly the experimental X-1 rocket plane in the successful attempt. October 15, 1954. Hurricane Hazel, the 4th major hurricane of 1954, hammers southern Ontario, Canada. Hazel hit hard from Jamaica to Canada, killing more than 400 people and causing over $1 billion in damages. October 16, 1859. Abolitionist John Brown leads a small group on a raid against a federal armory in Harper's Ferry, Virginia, now West Virginia, in an attempt to start an armed slave revolt and destroy the institution of slavery. October 17, 1931. Gangster Al Capone is sentenced to 11 years in prison for tax evasion and fined $80,000, signing the downfall of one of the most notorious criminals in the 1920s and 1930s. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. October 18, 1867. The U.S. formally takes possession of Alaska after purchasing the territory from Russia for $7.2 million, or less than 2 cents an acre. The Alaska purchase comprised of over 586,000 square miles, about twice the size of Texas, and was championed by William Henry Seward, the enthusiastically Expansionist Secretary of State under President Andrew Johnson. October 19, 1935. The League of Nations votes to impose deliberately ineffectual economic sanctions against fascist Italy for its invasion of Ethiopia. Steps that would impede the process of the invasion, such as banning the sale of oil to Italy and closing the Suez Canal, were not taken out of fear of igniting hostiles in Europe. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. I'm Samantha Klein. Thanks for stopping by.
This Week in History is brought to you by Kidsville News, a fun and effective learning source for children, teachers, and parents. It features school news, information, and local community events, while promoting literacy and the development of good reading habits, character traits, and study skills in young children. And Kidsville News is always free. Copies are delivered every month to every elementary school in the New Hanover County school system.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
Now don't go away. We'll be right back.
You want to go through the first loop, down on the right side. So often you see negative purposes for needles, but a needle is the key element in sewing. It's what makes the garment beautiful. You see a lot of drug abuse just walking down the street. It makes me really just look for something else to do, to stay as far away from that as possible. You get a high from doing something positive that lasts. For me, it's sewing, and my fashion show and people wearing my clothes, that's my high.
History's Timeline, a world of history in 60 seconds. Brought to you by New Hanover County Schools. 43 BC, Caesar's heir Octavian, Mark Antony, and Marcus Lepidus formed the second triumvirate to rule Rome. 37 BC, Mark Antony takes Cleopatra as his second wife. 32 BC, Octavian declares war on Antony and Cleopatra. 31 BC, Antony and Cleopatra's fleet is defeated by Rome. 30 BC, Octavian declares Egypt a Roman province. Antony and Cleopatra commit suicide. This has been History's Timeline, an educational snapshot of the fascinating people, places, and events that have shaped our past.
Daddy, why is the sky blue?
Well, to match your pretty eyes.
Nope, not even close. See, all colors have wavelengths that are diffused by oxygen and nitrogen. Since blue is the shortest wavelength, it's diffused up to 10 times more.
Who taught you that?
Mommy?
By age 12, too many girls lose interest in math and science and their chance at future jobs. Keep her interest alive.
You know why mathematics is the basis of life as we know it?
You tell me.
It's her future. Do the math.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Renee Sekta.
And I'm Airly Ward. October is National Bullying Awareness Month, and our show today focuses on that.
We start with the definition. Bullying is unwanted, aggressive behavior among school-aged children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. The behavior is repeated, or has the potential to be repeated, over time. Bullying includes actions such as making threats, spreading rumors, attacking someone physically or verbally, and excluding someone from a group on purpose.
There are many roles that kids can play. Kids can bully others, they can be bullied, or they may witness bullying. When kids are involved in bullying, they often play more than one role. It is important to understand that multiple roles kids play in order to effectively prevent and respond to bullying.
For more on what is bullying, we have a special report from YSN reporter Abby Bowman.
Bullying is a serious problem in homes, schools, and communities. Often dismissed as an adolescent rite of passage, research clearly indicates bullying is learned behavior and damaging to the academic, physical, social, and emotional development of all involved. Bullying is not only a problem of youth, but is one that spans all ages.
Bullying is a conscious, willful, deliberate act of harm and terror. Students who bully typically have been thinking about it, and their intent is to harm and to create fear in the victims.
In order to be considered bullying, the behavior must be aggressive and include an imbalance of power. Kids who bully use their power, such as physical strength, access to embarrassing information, or popularity, to control or harm others. Power imbalances can change over time and in different situations, even if they involve the same people.
But these days, bullying can be physical, the verbal aggression, the social aggression. We see that a lot with our girls, the social isolation, trying to pull other students away from them. Oh, don't be that person's friend, spreading rumor, gossip. Sexual harassment is a form of bullying. And now in the age of social media, there's cyberbullying.
Bullying can affect everyone. Those who are bullied, those who bully, and those who witness bullying. Bullying is linked to many negative outcomes, including impacts on mental health, substance use, and suicide.
Unfortunately, bullying is very permanent for some students, for some children. It can carry on into their whole life. They unfortunately believe what they hear and what they see, and it can affect their self-esteem. Their goals, their dreams are tainted, unfortunately.
Bullying is a pervasive problem in schools, affecting almost a third of students in grades 6 through 10. Because of the significant negative consequences of this behavior for all involved, it should not be viewed as just a normal part of growing up. To be addressed effectively, both individual and system-level interventions are required. If we do not intervene with bullies, we not only place targets at risk for physical injury, depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem, but also significantly increase the likelihood that bullies will develop into antisocial adults. Reporting for Your School News, this is Abby Bowman.
Thank you, Abby. Later in the show, we'll have more information and another special report on bullying.
But for now, let's send it over to the news desk for more Your School News with Victoria Chang.
Good morning and welcome to Your School News on the Morning Show. I'm Victoria Chang. Our top story this week, in a new survey just released, pollsters report that parents are struggling to help children with their homework. The numbers show that the most middle school parents are unable to do homework tasks set for their children. Fathers find helping with homework harder than mothers do, and numbers are equally split across all social economic groups. We have this report from YSN reporter Heather Jensen.
A national survey revealed that more than half of parents with children in grades K through 8 admit that they aren't up to the task of helping their children with homework. The National Center for Families Learning Survey found that 60% of parents admitted that their children's homework was a struggle. That's up just a little over 10% from last year's survey, which found 49% of parents suffered from chronic homework headaches. The survey results showed that either more parents are being truthful about their nightly woes helping their children with homework, or the lessons being sent home by teachers are getting tougher with the national rollout of the Common Core state standards. The survey found that roughly a third of parents, 33.5%, said they didn't understand the subject matter, which represents a significant decrease from last year, when almost 50% of parents blamed their lack of subject knowledge. English proved the toughest for fathers, science the hardest for mothers, and math remains a subject that parents and students continue to struggle with at home.
Parents with students in middle school should seek out help from their child's teacher. Most math teachers offer lunchtime help or after-school tutoring on a regular basis. You should encourage your child to take advantage of those opportunities. Additionally, teachers' websites have useful links for students to get assistance on topics they are learning, as well as links to the student textbook, which often comes with video lessons that students and parents can watch for additional help. Finally, please see the New Hanover County Schools website under the Parents tab for a link to the instructional resources in each of the major content areas. Here you will find other tips and information about what your child is learning in school and ways you can help them be successful.
The survey did find that about a quarter of parents, or 25%, said they were simply too busy to provide homework help. Last year's survey found about a fifth of parents lacked the time to help. Surprisingly, a small percentage of parents said their homework frustrations were because their child didn't want their help. The National Center for Families Learning, which is based in Kentucky, partnered with Google Consumer Surveys to conduct the poll in August. There were 1,039 online responses. Reporting for Your School News, this is Heather Jensen.
Students at Hoggard High School got the opportunity to see the critically acclaimed documentary Althea. The film tells the story of the tennis great Althea Gibson overcoming adversity to become one of the greatest players in history. Lenny Simpson, who was mentored by Gibson, presented the film to the students and talked with them about her great achievements in the 1950s. Gibson was the first African-American tennis player to win one of the 4 major single tournaments and helped integrate her sport at the height of the civil rights movement. She twice won Wimbledon and the U.S. Championships, now known as the U.S. Open.
I learned that Althea she had to overcome a lot of adversity, and she had to take a lot of opportunities, and she had to grow up from a very hard childhood, and she ended up becoming world champion, which shows us a lot about overcoming hard times. I do think other people should see this documentary because it teaches them a lot about how to overcome all of the hard times and how they can, if they follow their dreams, they can accomplish things.
After the showing, the students also participated in a question and answer session. Mr. Simpson, who was mentored by Gibson and also featured in the film. Simpson says they plan to take the film to all of the schools in New Hanover County with the hope of inspiring young minds to achieve great things. In other news, the League of Women Voters of the Lower Cape Fear has announced their support of the upcoming education bond referendum on the November 4th election ballot. In a little over a month, New Hanover County voters will be asked to approve a $160 million bond to fund 14 critical projects throughout New Hanover County schools. The projects include the building of a new elementary school, renovations of several schools, and improved safety, security, and technology for all schools. For more information about the education bond, visit the bond website at www.nhcs.net and click on the bright red apple. To schedule a bond presentation for your organization, contact the NHCS Public Relations Department at 910-254-4245. For all of the latest news on New Hanover County schools, just join us weekdays at 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable 191 for Your School News, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County schools. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks, Victoria. A meeting with the school principal, no matter how positive, can be an anxiety-laden experience for parents when it takes place across the desk in an office. To make things a little easier, we've got Coffee with the Principal, a chance for everyone in the community to get to know our frontline administrators in a relaxed setting over a good old-fashioned cup of coffee.
Good morning, I'm Malia Cassell. I'm Anna Cassell, and welcome to Coffee with the Principal. This morning we are talking with Miss Cindy Bliss, Principal of Castle Hayne Elementary. Good morning, Miss Bliss. Let's get started.
Give us an outline of your education.
I went to college at the University of Potsdam and the University of Albany, and I then graduated and moved to Wilmington and got my teaching certification at UNCW.
Before you became principal, what did you do?
I was a teacher, and I taught middle school at South Brunswick Middle School in Brunswick County for 5 years.
That's a lot. Why did you want to be a principal?
I wanted to be a principal to help make sure that all kids got an equal opportunity at education and make sure that teachers did everything they could to ensure kids received the education that they deserved.
Responsible.
What are the most important qualities a principal should have and why?
They should be good listeners, so that they can hear what students need and what teachers need and what parents need.
As a principal, how did you provide support for your teachers?
I want to make sure that they have all the resources and materials they need to teach all the kids. I also want to make sure that, that they have the time to teach so that they are not interrupted throughout the day.
What do you do for fun?
I read, and I read a lot. But I also have 4 kids, and I enjoy spending time with my family.
What goals did you set for your school this year?
This year I'm hoping to bring the Watchdog program to Castle Hayne Elementary, and that's getting dads involved in school every day. I also am challenging the teachers to ask students more critical thinking questions to the students to make them think harder and deeper.
Thank you, Miss Bliss. That wraps up the edition of Coffee with the Principal. I'm Malia. I'm Nadia. Back to you.
Now don't go away. This rip-roaring edition of The Morning Show will continue right after this break. But before we go, we have our trivia question of the day. Today's show is focused on bullying, and the statistics are alarming.
Our trivia question focuses on one of these statistics, and when we get back from the break, we have plenty more to share.
But first, here's our question. How many students in the U.S. miss school each day for fear of being bullied? A, 28,000, B, 90,000, C, 130,000, or D, 160,000?
We'll have the answer when we return.
Takeout meals for just $12.99. Call them.
Sherry Pearson. You are the sole surviving heir of the King of Montanopolis, and you are now worth $45 million.
I'm rich! This can't be real.
Of course it's not real. Come on. Having money isn't about luck. Like that takeout meal. Cook at home instead, you can save thousands a year. Feed me.
Feed the pig.
Lace up the cleats, put on the pads, and tape up those ankles. The football edition of Sports Roundtable is back for its 15th season on the Learning Network. I'm Marty Fuhrer. If you're a high school football fan, then join me for Sports Roundtable. We'll feature the area's most in-depth look at local 4A gridiron action. From a strong defense to an explosive offense, we spotlight it all on Sports Roundtable. Each week, you'll get a first-hand account of all the plays from New Hanover County Schools' 4 head football coaches. So don't miss the Sports Roundtable, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. right here on the Learning Network. Sports Roundtable is made possible with the support of Papa John's Pizza.
Edgar Allan Poe led a troubled life plagued by poverty and the loss of the people he loved. Despite his problems, Poe produced a large body of work including short stories, essays, and poems. He died in Baltimore at the age of 40, but his stories and poems live on, read by millions of readers in America and around the world. This background in literature has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Look at those numbers.
Woo! Look at those numbers! Yeah! Yeah! Oh, that's success, baby! Yeah! Can you believe we get paid to do this? It's only Monday. It's only Monday.
Excited about what you do? Or pass it on? As a Junior Achievement volunteer, you can bring your enthusiasm to the classroom and give a few kids a little something extra to get excited about their future. Share a little something of yourself. Be a JA volunteer.
Welcome back to the morning show. This week we focus on bullying awareness.
Bullying occurs in virtually every school across the country, and the numbers are staggering.
Our trivia question asks, How many students in the U.S. miss school each day for fear of being bullied? A, 28,000, B, 90,000, C, 130,000, or D, 160,000? Sadly, the correct answer is D, 160,000. Students miss school every day because of bullying.
30% of students in grades 6 through 10 are involved in moderate or frequent bullying, as bullies, victims, or both.
Every 7 minutes, a child is bullied at school, and there is very little intervention. Adults only intervene 4% of the time, while peers intervene 11% of the time. 85% of the time, there is no intervention.
Those are some true and terrible facts.
Yes, they are. Later in the show, we have another in-depth bullying report from our top-notch YSN team. But for now, we have a new episode of America's Wildest Places.
An exciting addition to our morning show lineup last year is America's Wildest Places. Each month, we take a visual and audio tour of one of America's national wildlife refuges, brought to you by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. You'll learn about the plants and animals at each one, as well as what the different seasons of the year brings. Enjoy the sights and sounds of America's Wildest Places.
Ancient mountains sheltered by evergreen forests, twisting streams and quiet waters, expansive wetlands abundant with life. The Canaan Valley National Wildlife Refuge is a place that feels like wilderness, diverse in animal and plant life. The valley appears wild and untouched. Stretching 10 miles long by as much as 3 miles wide, it is the largest wetland in West Virginia, and at 3,200 feet in elevation, one of the highest valleys in Appalachia. After decades of working with the community and advisory groups, the Canaan Valley National Wildlife Refuge was established in 1994. Where timber had once floated on the Blackwater River, kayaks now drift on the quiet waters. Named for its dark water, the Blackwater River flows through the valley, collecting water that escapes the beaver dams and trickles off the mountainsides. The river cuts and meanders through wooded hills and switches back upon itself as it makes its way out of the valley and into the Blackwater Canyon. The wetlands and bogs of Canaan Valley are home to special colonies of plants uniquely suited to grow in wetlands. The forests overlooking the valley have the look and feel of the far north. Winters in the valley are cold, and snow covers the ground for much of the winter. Spring wildflowers announce the end of winter. Green replaces white as wildflowers color the landscape. The valley continues its cycle through summer as wildlife perform their tasks. Plants flower, and rainstorms replenish the valley wetlands. fall colors appear early in the mountains. Bright leaves carpet the forest floor. Late blooming plants ripen and display the beauty of seasonal change. Over the last 100 years, the destruction of the spruce forests and the eventual regrowth of Canaan Valley tell a story of a fragile yet resilient landscape. The uniqueness and complexity of life in Canaan Valley provide endless combinations of beauty and inspiration for all who visit.
We have so many unique places all across the United States. Keep America's wildlife refuges in mind if you're planning a trip across the country.
All right, it's time now for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, October 13th through Monday, October 20th.
On Monday, October 13th, energize yourself with slam dunk spaghetti with a breadstick or a chicken filet sandwich. Accompany your Monday meal with a delicious broccoli, a garden salad, and a sweet-licious diced peaches.
Then, on Tuesday, October 14th, your school's cafeteria will be serving 2 entrees, overtime orange chicken or breaded mozzarella sticks. No matter which you choose, you can add glazed carrots, a garden salad, and fresh fruit.
On Wednesday, October 15th, you won't want to miss out on lunch as your cafeteria will be serving kickin' lasagna roll with a breadstick, or you can munch on a pork chop sandwich. On the sides, you may add several appetizing items such as corn, a garden salad, and snack on a peach crisp for dessert.
On Thursday, October 16th, race to your nearest lunch line and grab a touchdown nacho grande, or reach the end zone with fish sticks straight out of the sea. Include sides of succulent black bean and corn salad, sweet potato waffle fries, leafy garden salad, and fresh fruit.
Then, on Friday, October 17th, let the unique flavor of racing pizza satisfy your hungry stomach. Or if you'd prefer, pick up the submarine sandwich as if it's not good enough alone. You can have even macaroni salad, black-eyed peas, carrot sticks, garden salad, and mixed fruit to top off the meal.
Finally, on Monday, October 20th, you have a nice school-cooked meal of chicken Alfredo with a breadstick or scrumptious French bread pizza. Accompany your meal with garden peas, glazed sweet potatoes, a garden salad, and delicious mixed fruit.
And there you have the lunch meal for the week.
Don't forget, you can also start your day off with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school.
In our next segment, we visit students at Castle Hayne Elementary School for Student Voices.
Each month, we poll students on their thoughts from a host of questions. These questions range from local and national current events to topics that are just for fun. Since this is our bullying awareness edition of the morning show, this week we asked students at Castle Hayne Elementary, what do you do to stop bullying, and what can others do to stop it? And here's what they had to say.
To stop bullying, I will stand up for other people, and I think other people can help stop bullying by standing up for each other and also telling their teachers.
A way that I stop bullying is to stand up for myself and be the one to tell the teacher. Another way that people can do it is to be the person to stop and not be a bystander.
I would definitely go get a teacher, but if there wasn't a teacher around, I would try to stop it myself in a peaceful way, of course. And what other people can do is they can, I think they could do the same or come up with some of their own ideas, so.
I can stop bullying by telling other people that it's not right to bully people. I can also go to classrooms and talk about bullying is not the right thing to do. Other people can stop bullying by, if they're friends with somebody that bullies, they should tell them that bullying is not the right thing to do. And if they're with their friend and their friend's bullying somebody, they can stand up for that person, and maybe their friend will see that bullying is not the right thing to do.
Whenever you see conflict, just go tell an adult and don't be a bystander.
What I would do if someone was bullying me is I would try to ignore them as best as I can, and if they kept on bothering me, I would tell a teacher or a parent. And for others which have people bullying them, I would say if they're bothering you, just try to ignore them, and if they're not, and if they don't stop, just tell a parent or teacher right away.
I think bullying is rude and nasty, and if you see bullying, you should tell a teacher right away, and if they don't listen, then find another teacher, and they'll probably do something about it. But if no one does something about it, then you don't want to get involved with it, because it would just make things worse, and then you get involved and then they start to call you names. And another way to stop bullying is that others can stop listening to the bullies and just ignore them and then walk away. And if they keep following you and telling you things that are mean, like big ears and dumb and all that other stuff, you should just ignore them, and then they'll stop doing it.
Thank you, Castle Hayne Elementary. Several of those students had great advice.
Yes, they did. And coming up in the show, we have a special report on what the school system does to prevent bullying.
Now, as we head to a break, we leave you with a great moment in music.
German composer Karl Maria von Weber was born November 18, 1786. He was a composer and an opera director in an era of transition from classical to romantic music. Weber was born into a theatrical and musical family.
He became the director of the prestigious opera in Dresden and worked to establish a German opera in reaction to the Italian opera. Weber's work influenced many later opera composers.
His song, An Invitation to the Dance, was a hit. It was a piano piece written by Weber in 1819. This song is considered the most poetic and brilliant example of a romantic concert waltz. It was written in a D-flat major. It has a slow introduction, then continues into a waltzing theme.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Yes, I am.
Give it to him hard.
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
What state am I?
I'm the largest state east of the Mississippi River. My nickname is the Peach State. The 1996 Summer Olympics were held here. Do you know who I am? If you guessed Georgia, you're right. I received statehood in 1788.
This United States factoid has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
New Hanover County is growing once again. The linchpin of our community, our schools, is bulging at the seams. The November school bond will help curb those growing pains. It will fund the building of a new elementary school in the northern part of the county and rebuild 2 older, overcrowded elementary schools. The November bond will improve security across the district for every child and every school. It will fund repairs and renovations to both high schools and middle schools. Funds from the bond will also improve technology infrastructure across the district. For more information on the November school bond, visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net. Remember, it's our schools, our community, our future.
There's a monster in my bathtub. There's one on the couch. There's a monster on my bed.
Keep innocent things from triggering an asthma attack.
Please make the monsters go away.
Learn how to stop their asthma attacks at noattacks.org.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Renee Segda, and my co-host is Airly Ward, and we have our October segment of Snapshots.
In Snapshots, we take quick looks at some of the positives going on around our school system, from fun projects to school-wide events to guest speakers and fabulous field trips. There are so many great things for our schools to celebrate.
Miss Murphy's students at Freeman Elementary show off their reading skills using a reading program called Wilson Foundations. Wilson Foundations is an engaging and fun phonics and spelling program for the general education classroom. The Freeman students have really been benefited from this exciting and innovative program.
After learning all about the life cycle of apples, first grade students at Bradley Creek Elementary were delighted by a surprise visit from Johnny Appleseed. He focused their attention on the basic needs of plant life and the ability of the students to protect and improve their environment.
6th grade students in Miss Davis's Spanish class at Murray Middle School taught their parents how to navigate in a digital classroom. Parents saw the digital material their kids worked on and had a fun time trying it for themselves.
3rd grade classes at Eaton Elementary had a special visit by the Daughters of the American Revolution. They presented their Wiggy's Cape Fear Adventure program, which was about Wilmington's involvement in the Revolutionary War. It was an interactive visit that the students enjoyed.
New Hanover High School held their annual Diamond Dash. To add some pep to the event, the Wildcat Band performed at the finish line, giving runners a final boost of energy. It was a great way to share their school spirit with the runners.
Ben David, District Attorney for Wilmington and Head Watchdog at Forest Hills Global Elementary, took time out of his day to meet with 3rd graders during their Tar Heels Go Walking field trip. The trip allowed students to explore historic Wilmington.
That was this month's Snapshots.
It's time now for more Your School news on the morning show. Let's send it back over to our news anchor, Victoria Chang.
Thank you, Renee and Arlie, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on the morning show. Last week, a dozen Japanese education students from Osaka University visited students at Pine Valley Elementary School. It was an exciting chance for these future teachers in Japan to observe the American public education system and interact with the Pine Valley students. During their day at the school, some of the Japanese educators read to the top tigers, while others stood in front of the class teaching American students how to count from 1 to 10 in Japanese, or how to write their names using the Japanese alphabet.
We have an agreement with Osaka University of Education to kind of facilitate the exchanges of students and faculty. And so every spring in June, I take our students some of the education students to Japan to look at their schools and look at how they do things there. And then every August, September, they bring their students here. Their students come a little bit longer than we do because they also come here to help learn their English skills. And since they're training to be teachers as well, we try to get them out in our schools just to see how we do it. And so today, they've spent these 2 days here at Pine Valley, and today they've been actually teaching some classes.
Well, the teachers here are very passionate. They are very talented to encourage students to learn, not to push them to learn. In our case, maybe sometimes we push students to learn something because of examinations, homeworks, but here it seems to me all the students are enjoying learning. They are also, how to say, have fun to learn. That's really, really big difference, I think.
These future Japanese educators toured the elementary school campus, including an outdoor classroom, track, butterfly garden, and media center. It was exciting to see the impact that these young students from a small elementary school in Wilmington had on their guests from the other side of the world. It gave the visiting Japanese students and the opportunity to develop a global perspective on their academic disciplines. It also opened up the world to the Pine Valley students and helped them develop a global perspective, as many may not ever have an opportunity to travel abroad themselves. Kids and germs go quite in hand, sometimes quite literally. Sneezes, coughs, runny noses, spills, and messes are facts of everyday life with children. And that's why it's never too soon to teach little ones about germs and ways to stay clean and healthy. In preparation for flu season, Nurse Sue Kultzup at Forest Hills Global Elementary read to Miss Carranza's dual immersion class the book Germs Are Not for Sharing. The book is a short course for kids on what germs are, what they do, and why it's so important to cover them up, block them from spreading, and wash them down the drain. Using simple words, compliment, warm, inviting, full-color illustrations that show real-life situations kids can relate to. It was a wonderful learning experience for all the Forest Hills students. Finally, the New Hanover County Board of Education in August awarded Caroline Cook and Miranda Lancaster, both recent graduates of New Hanover County Schools, the 2014 Board of Education Student Scholarship. In its mission to attract quality teachers, the Board of Education awards 2 1,000 scholarships, providing incentive, recognition, and financial assistance to outstanding seniors in a New Hanover County high school. The scholarships are given to the accredited North Carolina college or university of the student's choice and will total $4,000 each over a 4-year period. Both Carolina and Miranda graduate from Laney High School and participated in the Laney Teacher Cadet Program. That's all for now. To watch this week's edition of Your School News Online, visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the NHCS TV logo on the homepage. Now back over to Renee and Airly.
Thanks, Victoria. Now to end today's show, we have another special report on bullying from our Your School News team.
In this report, we look at the school system's response to bullying. In July 2004, the North Carolina State Board of Education adopted Education Policy SSA 007, which mandates that each local Board of Education must develop and maintain policies and procedures to prevent, intervene, investigate, document, and report all acts of bullying.
But long before that, New Hanover County Schools had launched a comprehensive bullying prevention program focused on reducing bullying and harassment of students district-wide. The program was designed to address the issue of bullying systematically and follows a strategic plan on bullying prevention. We get a full report on the school district's battle against bullying from Jamie Stelfert.
Bullying has taken all sorts of new and high-profile forms, and public school systems like New Hanover County are fighting back through a variety of channels, from training peer watchdogs to staging assemblies and workshops for students, teachers, and parents.
New Hanover County Schools is ahead of the game, I believe, in dealing with bullying. When we compiled our statistics this past summer, we discovered that the national average for bullying reporting amongst 12-year-old to 18-year-olds was 28% nationally, and that was from the American Educational Research policy that they developed. When looking at New Hanover County Schools, we only 1.5% of our students are reporting bullying. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is not more going on, but in terms of people who are using the protocol, the reporting process, we do find that only 1.5% of our 25,000 students reported any type of bullying or harassment that goes on.
New Hanover County Schools has adopted anti-bullying policies in recent years, for the first time detailing priorities and programs for earlier intervention and mandating stricter reporting of student-to-student aggression.
The New Hanover County School Board does have policy number 8307, that can be found on the district web page for parents and students as well. That clearly defines what the district policy is. Bullying is prohibited, bullying, harassment, and discrimination, and also the procedures for reporting suspected bullying.
Long before bullying was a hot topic in the news, the school system has been providing support to schools. The district's elementary schools have used Second Step, a program aimed at core social-emotional skills. Middle schools have parent workshops, and on the high school level, peer mediation has been offered a method of combating bullying.
So throughout the district, various campuses are using either programs that they have purchased or those that they are using out of developing from their own experience. StopBullying.gov.org is also one of the tools that is being used.
Several schools throughout the system's campuses have already provided special bullying awareness and intervention training to students and their parents. Noble Middle School recently held a social media awareness seminar with a focus on cyberbullying, while other schools are ramping up their efforts.
What we do as a school is we do a lot of interventions, a lot of education with the students. We provide students with multiple opportunities to come and talk to adults about what is going on. So we actually are proactive, providing staff whose core responsibility is to work with children and bullying and intervene early before it becomes an issue that disrupts the child's life and their education.
With most bullying happening on school grounds, educators and school officials are often on the front lines in the battle against bullies. New Hanover County Schools will continue to include a bullying or harassment policy in their student manuals.
You've got to have bullying policies set forth in your schools. Number one, to make sure that the children are safe and that learning can occur. If you're worried about being bullied, either online or in person, you can't focus on teaching and learning.
Bullying can threaten students' physical and emotional safety at school and can negatively impact their ability to learn. New Hanover County Schools has found the best way to address bullying is to stop it before it starts, by putting into place things school staff can do to make schools safer and prevent bullying. Reporting for your school news, this is Jamie Stalford.
As a final note on bullying awareness for our show, we want everyone to know New Hanover County Schools is working hard to stop bullying.
If you have any concerns or questions, please talk to a teacher or administrator at your school or contact the NHCS Behavior Support Specialist, Judy Stubblefield, at 254-4188.
Well, that does it for this edition of The Morning Show. Remember, for the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here for New Hanover County Schools TV on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Have a great day!
And a wonderful week.